What's up, guys, and welcome back to Paint Bravely, the podcast where you can find a little bit of encouragement, discover new ways to make your hobby more fun, and most importantly, learn to paint bravely. Now, we got some pretty good back and forth this week. Feeling pretty good about it. I think we have a lot of stuff to actually catch up on. Brent's got his fancy schmancy drink. I've got my rando green cup, and I think we're pretty much ready to go. So, Brent, I haven't really talked to you in the last couple of weeks. What have you been up to?
Well, good to talk to you too, Casey. Now, we're going to start on a bit of a bummer here. So,
Okay.
released that fishing video last week or two weeks ago. Sure. And right to 10 out of 10, which is YouTube's way of quantifying how bad your videos are doing.
Right.
And that's all right. You know, every time I release a video that includes a canoe or the great outdoors, right to the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, mini painters, they got a one-track mind. They're only interested in one thing, and that is not fishing in canoes in the great outdoors. So, doing a little bit of a reset over here in Goobertown, and I'm just kind of retrenched a little bit, and I'm doing some 3D printing. Been printing out demons for Rain in Hell.
Yes, this game
you familiar with this?
Won't read the book for, but you'll definitely print the minis out for. Yes.
Yeah, that's how I feel about most games. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, like I'm excited to see what you got for that, because I know a couple of companies here and there that have some pretty sweet, demon models. But how many do you need for Rain in Hell? Is it like 8, or is it 4v4? I can't remember.
It's somewhere in between the two. Yeah, they've got a point system. They have a point system. So this is cool. Yeah, this is Rain in Hell. It's a model agnostic game. It's the one from Vince Venturella and Adam from Tabletop Minions. And yeah, you have a war band of demons in hell fighting for, you can be fighting for various things, but some sort of demon-y ambition of some kind. Yeah. And it's model agnostic, so that means you pick the figures from whatever company you want, or you make them yourself out of clay and call it a demon and go to town. So, yeah, they have names like Spiked Demon and Corpulent Demon and Armored Demon. And so cool. It's like just enough to give you a hint of kind of, give you some ideas of what you should be thinking about as you're picking out models. And I've been having a lot of fun, because there is so much stuff you can use. I've got orcs and ogres and an actual demon minis in mind. And
that's true. I guess, I suppose, we talked about that before. Like, they don't even have to be demons. You just have to paint them like demons, right? Mm-hmm. So once you get them to a certain place, you give them those flaming red eyes or whatever, and you're like, look at that, demon orcs, perfect.
Yeah, and Salesman Adam, Salesman Vince, they talk about the fact that different cultures, demons are different things.
That's very true.
Yeah, sometimes they're red, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're hairy and covered in ice and frostbite. Right. Yeah.
That's true.
So I've kind of been on a mission to go into the depths of my STL files to find just representatives from a whole bunch of different companies to print out and make something kind of fun.
Yeah.
But
do you have a hard time going through your STLs?
Mm-hmm, because I do not organize them properly when I download them.
Okay. Just checking. Like, I have the absolute worst time. Like, I've forgotten half the crap that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go through, like, everything's in a Dropbox and it's technically organized, but then I don't know. Like I feel like not enough of these companies provide like pictures for easy reference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is in this set. This is exactly what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes there are good pictures, sometimes there aren't, but man, it's hard. So I always end up like starting fresh, looking for something. I'm like, oh, demons. Oh man, I don't know if I have any of those, and I probably do. I have hundreds.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the file names for all these STLs are like Lysandra's left arm supported.
Right.
Fixed.
Unsupported.
Sword.
Yeah. Supported fixed. It's like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
some of the companies do a pretty good job of putting just a JPEG file in there that has the pictures with labels of who Lysandra even is and whether you care about her left arm or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and only a handful of them. But anyways.
Well, yeah, so really the last week or so I've kind of been reminding myself how much of a time sink that 3D printing can be, and I'm having fun with it, but by the time you find the files you want and get them supported and get the printer working and clean them up and you get them cured and then assemble them if they need assembly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a hobby in itself, and if you like it, and I do like it, except for the part where you get a little bit of resin on your fingers, you wash that off.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a solution for that. It's a hot tip, but not really.
Oh, you gonna save? Oh,
I mean, okay. It felt like you paused there for me, like specifically, only because like 20 minutes ago, Brent and I just talked about I got the Anycubic wash and cure station they sent to me, and I tested it out, and it actually was awesome. And I got like no resin on my fingers, and yeah, so him bringing that up kind of reminded me of that, which is why I'm now stepping in to say that's a hot tip. Like, those wash and cure stations are actually pretty good. So, anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there. It's because we just talked about it.
Right on. Okay, so that's a little bit of an update about what's going on over here, but why don't you fill the people in about what you've been doing, Casey?
Well, as a, I don't know, segue, if you will, I'm going to jump off with a weird one. So my wife and I were talking the other day, and she just kind of like came at me from like left field, and she's like, well, I have this idea for a game. I'm like, oh, a game? Well, what kind of game? It's like, well, you have certain like a small amount of models, and then they fight, and then somebody else has a small amount of models, and then you can play together. It's like, oh, like a skirmish game, like something small, right? So very much in this Reign of Hell style of thinking. The catch was, she said, well, why don't you make a bunch of molds and then mold candy?
What?
Right? Okay. Stay with me here. So you would make up however many teams of like 4 to 6 characters. Each of those things would have their own rules. And you could make an infinite number of different teams and whatever. There wouldn't have to be necessarily any kind of balance. But the actual models themselves would be cast in hard candy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose, you eat that shit. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, your guy dies. Oh, did I kill your whatever the hell that's called? I'm like, and you get to eat it.
It's been a long time since I've had a Jolly Rancher hard candy. I don't know if my teeth are up to that anymore.
I mean, I don't think mine are, but technically,
I'm excited to find out.
I mean, you could do like some not plastic, but like chocolate or something
Werther's
quick, something
Originals.
Yeah, something easy, and the game would obviously have to be some kind of quick, fast skirmish on some kind of board that would be somewhat universal. So of course, because my wife and I just do this, we start talking about ideas for like a business or a company or a whatever product, and we go down the rabbit hole because we're terrible. We're talking like, well, people have chess boards and they have checkered boards at their house, like most people do. It's pretty standard. So like, there's your board, right? That's easy enough. You can draw that out. You can print that out. Rules don't have to be super overly complicated. Like, your warband could have a few different things that you do with some dice rolls, and you got some very basic math combat stuff. And the whole idea is that, you go out, you buy your couple dollar thing of candy, and you can actually do something with that, and then loser doesn't get to eat their candy.
Now, do you play with the figures wrapped?
I mean, if you put them like in foil, because you could individually wrap them like a Hershey's Kiss, then sure, you don't get like fingerprints and stuff on them. Then you unwrap them and bite their heads off.
It's a good gimmick.
It's definitely a gimmick, and then alternatively to that, you do like injection molding of simple plastics, right? Like rubbers. That way you can actually go out and get that if you wanted to continue playing this game. You know what I mean? So there's like a collectability, like a Pokemon-esque skirmish thing going on.
And you're just sharing this on the internet for anyone to scoop right up.
I mean, look, like, if somebody were to actually go out and do this, then I will gladly call my lawyer and point this podcast out, and they will find your IP address. And
we will go to war. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that. No.
Yeah. As discussed on last podcast episode, Casey also has like a pretty good spy shop near him.
I do. It's very good. Yeah.
He's got lawyers. He's got the high-tech devices. This is his idea about the candy cane skirmish game. Yeah. And I just named it. So
candy cane.
I'm in on this too. It's a 3-way split. Yeah. Think about it.
I mean, I don't know what I would call it or anything. And there goes Brent again on this podcast. We haven't had a good inside joke for a while, I feel like. Somebody needs to make a suggestion for next time. I don't know what to call it, though. Yeah, I don't know. Candy cane. That seems too Christmassy, but,
A Christmas expansion.
Right, you could, exactly.
We'll workshop it.
See, I do think it's an interesting idea, because as long as you had decent rules, basic D6 rules, right? Couple different things per each, a little piece of paper comes in that. Whatever, it's like price of a candy bar. Could be cool.
Just be chess where you eat the pieces.
I mean, essentially, although...
Yeah, where's the money
in that,
though?
Thing. Yeah, well, actually, right now, like, chess is huge right now.
What are you selling, the rule set to chess?
I mean...
There's just an asterisk at the very bottom of the rule set.
This is chess.
Eat
chess.
them.
I mean, I was going off the chessboard idea as more of a movement thing. Like, you move 1 square, 2 squares, right? Yeah. So you don't have to necessarily make it up. You're just going to end up with a lawsuit
when somebody chokes on a rook, though. Yeah, this is...
I mean, that would be on them. Like, you separate... like, how about this? The rule will be like, the board you play on, you can print it out on our website. Mm-hmm. Whatever this game is called, .co.biz, whatever, I don't know. And then it'll just be literally a printout of a chessboard. And then you can be like, I could just use my chessboard.
Well, as long as we're using this podcast as kind of a founding document, I want to state for the record, do not eat pieces that are not edible. Chew if it requires chewing before swallowing, but don't hurt your teeth. And I am not a lawyer, but don't eat anything shouldn't eat.
Are those warnings on Jolly Ranchers? Because I don't think they are.
Jolly Ranchers, the hard candies, are legitimately dangerous.
They are. They will pull out fillings in an instant.
100%. Yeah. So, man, I don't even
want
to think about it anymore.
I have never actually had a cavity or a filling. Yeah, weird. I don't know.
Good for you.
Also, haven't been to the dentist in 20 years, but that doesn't really matter. Hard candy's not a problem. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it's an idea worth thinking about.
I thought so. I thought it was interesting.
Now, Casey, this is a podcast about painting minis. Have you painted anything recently, or let's move this along. Let's talk about painting something. Let's talk about tips and tricks.
Okay. Tips and tricks. Okay. Let's see. I painted up and actually 3D printed a little bit too. A Nurgle Rhino. So it's a tank. Yeah. I think I showed. We talked about the.
I think we're double dipping a little bit here, but.
Well, because I printed out the dozer blade, right? But now it's done. This is actually, I like, for work this week, this is what I've been working on. And it's done, which is cool, because it's still pretty early in the week as of right now. We're recording this. But yeah, I painted out that. I did the chipping. I did the highlighting. Dozer blade turned out really cool. It actually looks like the other tanks. And I actually got to use my Dremel to mess this kit up even more, which was pretty fun. I don't usually get to use a Dremel to take away plastic, like in a serious manner. But, if you push hard enough on a GW plastic kit with a Dremel, it will start to melt. And it smells.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that does not happen to me very often.
Okay, so, here's a topic. For a very brief amount of time, I tried to use a Dremel to remove mold lines.
Ooh.
And it didn't work great, but it didn't work terrible either.
Well, were you using like the sanding wheel, or were you using something else?
I was using one of the really small tip ones.
Okay.
And so I have a Dremel that's, it's fairly beefy in the hand. It's one of the battery charged ones. It's a rotary tool, rechargeable battery, and it's got a lot of weight to it. So it's a little bit more like you're moving the model more than you're necessarily using the drill like a pen or something.
Okay.
But yes, it's got a tiny head that's abrasive, and I was having okay luck with it. Just real quick zooming along the mold lines. And there were mistakes. There was
mistakes were made. Yeah.
Mistakes were made. Mistakes get made. But it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever done.
Okay.
And the day may come again when I return to thinking that this magical tool is the way to go for cleaning up models before you prime them.
So my Dremel is the like precision Dremel, the small one.
Ooh.
It's very nice. It's not battery powered. It's lightweight, adjustable speed, all sorts of different sized abrasive tips and sanding wheels and buffing wheels and wire brushes and all that sorts of
right.
Dremel-y stuff. I don't think I would ever try to do that. Like, I have like a lot of control with that Dremel, and like I got some good footage of like of coming in on this Rhino, taking out plastic hard along like some edges, and it like it just cuts it out. It's like real satisfying stuff. But I don't think I would ever try to take a mold line off. Like, that feels so dangerous to me, because even with this one on a low speed, like if that bit catches a little, like I would, like if I was on a Space Marine leg, and I'd say I was at the bottom of the foot and it just caught, it would run up all the way up the leg into that crotch and just start biting away, and it would be awful. I can't imagine that that's a good way to clean off mold lines, or like better than a sanding stick.
It's faster than a sanding stick.
Oh, I bet it's faster.
No, I think if you get like the right cone attachment.
Okay, sure. Maybe that's what I'm missing here. My bits are all too bitey. Maybe I need like an abrasive cone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I got a cone somewhere. I can try a cone. Yeah.
Now this is the sort of thing that again, we cannot be held liable if you ruin some nice models by taking our advice, which is
I did just explain exactly what will happen if you do that, like in graphic detail. Okay, that's what will happen.
Yeah, we're doing a bit of a good cop, bad cop thing sort of here, and I'm telling you what's the worst that can happen if you take a Dremel to your models in an effort to clean up mold lines. And Casey is saying, do not do that. It will go bad on you every time. Yeah. Almost every time.
Like, even when I'm being super like careful, because I've had weirdly, like, because of buying models on eBay, you get a lot of like weird head swaps, and people will feel like, and especially in a Space Marine, that neck, we were talking about before, it's like it's a depressed neck. It has like a collar around it, so it's a hole. that the head just drops right in. Man, like, people will put like 5-minute epoxy in that. For real. And it's like, why? Why would you put... No. There's no reason for you to fill this. Like, I don't understand it. But like, even that, trying to break through with like some pretty abrasive tools, like, something bad almost always happens when using a Dremel. Like, it is inevitable. Even with like a soft wire brush on metal models, which does an amazing job at cleaning them up, getting into the real nice crevices, getting the like real nasty stuff off. Like, you will accidentally just spend too much time on one spot and you'll see a couple of marks from that brush. Even if it's super soft metal, like, it doesn't matter. Don't use a Dremel on your expensive ass GW models. Just say.
You know who has really good rotary tools and really good control with them? Dentists.
That's a good point.
Good enough for your teeth, good enough for your Space Marines. That's what I always say.
I mean, okay.
But no, for real. Like, if you are a dentist or a dental hygienist and you have that dexterity and that really nice rotary tool.
Yeah, the nice one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean they're using that like a pen.
Oh yeah.
And they brace their hands. They've got all the control in the world. Yeah. Sometimes they hit your gums just for fun. That's not a mistake. They don't have to. They have the control not to do that, but they're just...
Right. They just want to make sure that...
keep you awake.
Exactly. Yeah. The dentists are like that, notoriously. Like those stabby tools that scrape plaque, every so often they just have to jab you in the gums on purpose to make sure, I don't know, that you'll pay at the end of the service. I don't know why.
It's to remind you of how skilled and talented they are the rest of the time.
Right. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah. Maybe when it comes to the dangerous stuff, I'll trust them more.
Yeah. But look, okay, here's what I'm saying, Casey. You, with years of experience with your sanding sticks and your X-Acto blades, we set you down with a fresh, new, mold-lined Mini, and we set a dental hygienist down with their fancy rotary tool. They'll be through a squad before you get through that first one, I'm telling you.
You know what this feels like? And this might be a bit of a weird call, weird deep cut. There's a guy I keep seeing on Facebook, and I think he's like a TikTok guy. But he's like reacting to, like, 5-minute video or whatever, 5-minute crafts, stupid garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, he just does the thing the normal way, and it's just like, yes, this is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? So you can imagine that in your head, just somebody does something the stupidest way, and then he just, like, opening a door. It's like, well, I'm going to tape my hand with this thing, and then I'm going to put this pot thing over here, and tape a handle to that, and then I'm going to open this door. And then he's just like, no, just open a door. That's how you open the door. Something stupid, right? But that's kind of what this feels like to me. Like, dental hygienist gets out $6,000 Dremel.
Now are you?
Yeah. Innovation. Don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah, I mean, this hobby has gone through phases. A while back, everyone was excited about Nuln Oil, and then everyone was excited about airbrushes, then everyone was excited about contrast paints, and now apparently it's oil paints. Next year, Dremel tool mold line removal. That's going to be the new hot thing. And again, this podcast is the podcast of record. You heard it here first.
We got the ideas. Patent that now. I mean, as far as, like, I see where you're going with the Nuln Oil, to the airbrushing and the contrast paints. I see that. I think ink's probably in there before oils. I'll give you there. I'm just gonna throw that in there. Yeah. All right. Whatever. I'll ride with you. Dremels, 2022.
Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've had a few models that went surprisingly well.
It went pretty good.
I want to say like the third and fourth and fifth, maybe lesser results, but maybe frustrating results. And then I definitely remember I stopped doing it for some reason. But
some reason or another.
Maybe that was just cowardice. I don't know. Maybe the reason was...
you were dremeling bravely enough. That's all it was.
Dremel brave.
Clean mold lines bravely.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Just a man in his Dremel.
So you were dremeling your Rhino to try to give it a little extra texture, a little battle damage, a little character.
Yeah, so this got sent to me and it was already like pretty cut up. With the intention to have it all battle damage. You know when you think about, oh yeah, I'm gonna put some cuts in the armor. So you take your X-Acto and you make a cut in the armor. And then when you go to paint it, it's not exactly like how you think it was gonna turn out.
Yeah.
Because it's not an actual cut. You just slice the plastic, right?
And it's plastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like that. No, this is like legitimately cut into. And I had to take it apart, kind of reassemble it. I printed out new doors, new hatches. I got some like cool 3D spores that are growing out of it now. I just kind of went to town on the whole thing, and I actually had a really crappy time painting it. Like really a bad time.
Okay.
I feel like we should be focusing on that more than the Dremel. But
no, tell me.
Digress.
Wait, why did you have a bad time painting it? What is this?
You know what? I don't know. Like, I've been honestly trying to think about this, and I wrote this down as a possible topic for today in our notes. I don't know how deep we can go. It's just, I don't know. I just think I had a weird week. Like, I was painting this thing and it was going along fine, and I had the coats on there, like everything was good, and I started doing the weathering, which I feel like I'm pretty all right at. Like, I've done a lot of weathering on a lot of models, and I'm pretty confident with the different techniques and tools that are required to do the things that I like to do. And for some reason, I just couldn't get it to work. And it looked like crap, and then all of a sudden paint was coming up in weird places and going back down to plastic, and like, I don't know, I was just there are like 4 coats of paint on this Rhino, and it was bare plastic when I started. And yeah, I don't know, I just had a really crappy time painting it, and I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this certainly happens to me. I like regress a couple of skill levels, or yeah, I think I'm a better painter than I am, and then I just start working on a model. Trying to highlight some skin or something, it just comes out terrible.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like the last 4 or 5 models I've done in a row have been like, I feel so good about like they've been like, for me, they felt like pinnacle moments, like really top of my game painting, right? Like, I felt pretty good about it. And then I come up against this stupid Rhino that like should be so easy. It's a tank. It doesn't even have to be more than one color. And it's just like, it was impossible. I don't know.
Wow, sorry to hear that. I mean, yeah, your knight that you did recently looked really good. You did Mortarion recently, and then you're telling me you just ate it with this Rhino, huh?
Yeah, it's like like the Mortarion was awesome. Like, I had a great time on that, and I thought it turned out cool. The knight, that was a shoulder pad and a shield. I got a lot of work on that guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but those both did turn out awesome. Yeah. I liked those a lot. But that's what I mean. Like, I felt really good about that, right? Like, enough to be like, that's a video. I painted a shoulder pad and a freaking shield, and that is the video, because I felt
you've got the caution stripes on there. You've got the sweet chipping, and actually, I would have left it at that stage. You put all kinds of like oil and stuff all over it, but
Yeah.
and
The
I liked it just a little bit more clean, but that's just me. That's the difference
right.
between us, I think.
Oh, I think when it comes down to it, yeah, like our painting styles, as it were, like you got a good cleanliness about you with your painting that I do appreciate.
Sometimes I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tend to just not like I can't even remember if I even have like a model around here. I guess it does. Like
the grime looks good too.
Von Karstein and like is the cleanest model I've been in a while. Like it's just one of those weird things. I just never go that direction. I don't know. I mean, I have been working on Death Guard. It's kind of not.
No, I get you. You. But man, I'm just saying that shoulder pad with the caution stripes and the chipping, I might have stopped it right there before the grime, but you do like your grime.
I do like the grime. And I mean, it gives it a nice, like, rusty, look to it. It looks good.
It is good. It is good.
Somebody did point out that, like, this looks more like Iron Warriors or something? Some Space Marine chapter I've never heard of. Other than Death Guard, I don't know. Whatever, caution lines are sweet. I put grime on it and Nurgle crap. It's Nurgle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's sweet. That rules.
It does rule.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Like I was in a funk. This was all of yesterday. Like I did actually end up painting the whole thing, and I actually really liked the way it turned out. But like it took me, I swear, 8 hours to like assemble and paint this rhino.
And you're gonna use sad music for the video? There's a lot of sad music.
I should. I have not literally even begun to write a script or do anything for this video. I recorded it and then I was like, all right, I'm not talking to the camera anymore. I'm too pissed off. Like I can't do it. And I finished painting it and I was like, this tank is sweet.
By the time you see this podcast or hear this podcast, Casey's gonna have a sweet video out about a rhino. And we'll see how he frames it up. Maybe he's just going to focus on the good, and maybe he's going to wallow in the bad.
I hate wallowing. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It usually makes for a good video. People tend to appreciate the fact that, like, oh, yeah, you're making videos. Like, obviously, we're going to screw stuff up, like, just as often as most people. It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a weird thing, like a weird journey this week in painting.
Right.
Yeah. But I did get a hot tip from it.
Along with the dank times. That's what we always say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did happen to get a hot tip out of it though, so I'm going to share that. So my initial approach is with the streaking grime, and generally they have been to use a brush and brush it on lightly, let it sit, then come in and take it off, and you get the same kind of effect. I have used an airbrush before and it's been fine, but it's kind of messy and it's probably not good for you. You really should be wearing some kind of respirator and have a good ventilation going on. Enamels are pretty dangerous. So yeah, that sucks. But that being said, using your airbrush to spray brown enamels over something to do streaking grime effects and rust and all this stuff looks a million times better. And if you can get the proper ventilation, the proper mask, whatever you need, it should be the only way that you apply it for the most part.
Right. Well, it looks pretty uniform when you spray it on. It's when you wipe it off that it starts to look cool, right?
Yeah. When you wipe it off, because it is a uniform layer, you're getting, it just looks more realistic. Like when and you'll see if you watch the video. Brent doesn't watch my videos. I'm just kidding.
I catch up. I get
know,
there
me too.
eventually.
I'm terrible. I don't watch anybody's videos. Like everyone else is having conversations and watching videos and doing things. I'm like, I'm making this tank and having a bad day. I'll be back later.
Yeah.
This is what it is. But the uniformity with the streaking grime that way, once it's through the airbrush, it gives you a color consistency, especially over white, that looks more realistic. It just does. So
Sure.
That's my hot tip. Try it through an airbrush. I think you'll be surprised.
I still haven't got on that train. Man, I've almost been skipping over the whole oil and enamel train entirely. Maybe I'll get on eventually. I've dabbled a little bit, but I've mostly been skipping over right to Dremel tools, I think.
Right. See, that's the thing, right? You forgot the ink section before the oils and enamel section, like, and that we can't just skip straight to Dremel. Like, you gotta get in there, man.
Again.
I mean, it will. They always do. And even that, the oil stuff, all of these scale modelers, every scale modeler is like, yeah, oils. It's literally been for the last 30 years, guys. Nothing new. Like panel lining. Oh, panel lining. All these Gundam people like, panel lining, yeah. These Warhammer people are stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how these kind of bits of common knowledge come and go, but
yeah. It is interesting because there are trends, and I mean, obviously, we're pretty guilty of like hopping on certain trains at certain times.
Of course.
I mean, we have to, right? It's kind of part of the gig. Although I do feel like airbrushing was a trend. Everybody laughed at it, and now it's kind of a staple. I'd say a majority of the painters in this hobby, at least 50%, own an airbrush. I have to imagine.
There's something to be said for the trends that don't require you to wear a respirator, though.
That's a good point.
I gotta say, like the inks and or brush on inks and brush on contrast paints and the Nuln oils, and when dry brushing comes back in a big way again. And I gotta say, that's there's a certain appeal to those things over oils, enamels, even 3D printers, where anything that gets things sticky or smelling bad or is obviously not super good for your health.
Yeah.
Yeah, those trends come with a little extra cost. And
sure. Although, I suppose it depends on the type of person you are, too.
Oh, sure. Well, some people are like, yeah, fire it up. Like, that's...
right.
I was just talking about how to try to incorporate more power tools into our hobby, so...
This is a toothbrush. It's not your toothbrush. Although...
the micro resin dust is probably also not great for your health, so... That
one out of most of them, I actually am more cautious about than any other thing. Because I've worked a lot around asbestos, specifically. Like, I've never done any like abatement myself, but I've worked in places that have had to have it removed, and there are certain procedures and all these rules that you have to follow and paperwork that you have to fill out. Something happens, and like I've heard of people, and I've seen people who've dealt with that from like 30-40 years ago when they didn't know better. So it's kind of on that same level. It's like there are certain things like, if I'm outside and I'm spray painting, like, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing a mask. Like, I know I'm going to breathe that in, but I also know it's not going to necessarily kill me in 30 years. Whereas resin dust and microparticles that can settle into your lungs deep and then cause cancer in 30 years, like that seems legit. Yeah.
Always use caution when using your Dremel on your minis.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially on resin, which I have taken. Okay. Okay. I need to take a step back. So I was doing this commission job like a year and a half ago. I don't even know when. It's 2 years. And I definitely used a Dremel to remove mold lines on very expensive Forge World models. 100% that happened. Yep.
Good to hear.
It was good because the mold line slippage was so bad that there was no sanding that could have fixed it. Thanks a lot, Forge World. Yeah.
Very good.
So what else have you been up to?
All right.
We talked
so
about my painting.
A follow-up on something we mentioned last week. So I said that I'd been trying out some new airbrush paints and actually kind of enjoying them. And it's recently come out that the paint company that is coming out with a new line of airbrush paints is Army Painter. And so that's what I was experimenting with. And they sent me a triad of bone colors and a triad of teal colors or turquoise colors. And yeah, they applied well. They didn't jam up my paintbrush particularly quickly. I mean, after 10 minutes or so, you gotta flush it out. But yeah,
10 minutes good. It's good.
Yeah, it didn't bother thinning them or anything. But I gotta say, it worked nicely. And then, yeah, the fact that they come in a triad of kind of dark shadow color and then mid-tone and then highlight color.
Yeah.
That's always convenient and fun.
It's great. Honestly, like I wish that I wish that GW earmarked it a little bit more than they do. Because they do sort of do that in most cases.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish more companies would do that. And of course you can mix your own paints and you can figure out how to make your own shadow colors and highlight colors, but as long as you're spending a lot of money on tiny bottles of paint, they might as well do as many convenient things for you as they can. And so for a while now I've enjoyed the fact that Reaper does the same thing of selling triads of colors.
I've always liked that about them,
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I had a pleasant experience using Army Painter paints, and we have definitely said some negative things about their main paint line on this channel.
I think it's mostly the foam issues that we have.
The what issues?
With foam.
Oh no, not We've had a bit of a chuckle about their really fancy packaging on sheets of styrofoam for their terrain Game Master line.
That I'd say we've had the most conversation about that. I can't say that we've actually talked about their paints that much.
Well, they have the thing that they kind of settle out pretty quick and they need a lot of shaking. And we have gotten comments on this channel about you need to sort of drain the ketchup juice before you shake up your Army Painter paints. So, and I've actually been trying to look into this more, but essentially if you buy a bottle of Army Painter paint and it's never been used before, it's going to have a couple of milliliters of just clear colorless paint medium on the top.
Right, yeah.
And some of that's because the paint's been settling, but I think part of that is actually just how they package the paint. And Casey's reaching for something here, but
I just grabbed a bottle that I have not used of Army Painter paints, Ultramarine Blue. I haven't literally touched this bottle in probably 2-3 years.
Okay.
I just because you're saying it, you can keep talking. Okay. I'm going to.
I can see it's the older packaging on the side of the one that you just grabbed. So yeah, it's definitely an older one. But I was actually at my local game store and I picked up a couple of fresh bottles of Army Painter just to see what they look like, kind of straight from the factory. And yeah, you can definitely tell that the top milliliter or two is clear. So I'm watching you on the screen there, kind of squirt out some blue paint, but I've gotten a couple of good film clips of me taking a bottle of Army Painter paint and, without shaking it, just squirting it into a little clear cup. And you can definitely get some just straight paint medium coming out. And again, partially that's because of how it settles out, but partially I think they do package it that way. Something about drying. Casey's making a giant mess over there. He's got a paper towel that is entirely blue.
Oh, it's not even blue.
Don't put your arm in that.
It is purple.
Purple, fine.
Ultramarine blue.
Your webcam's not the best, and my monitor is not the best, but it's ultramarine purple. There you go.
Yeah, I just poured out all the excess medium on top, and a little bit of blue came out, and now it seems like it's a nice thick paint. So I'll try that later. See if it works pretty good.
Yeah. So I've bought a lot of Army Painter paint. When I got back into the hobby, I bought their mega set, or their complete mega set. I bought their most mega of sets and got like 100 Army Painter paints. And I think I have mentioned this, but the first time I went to go use some paint and just clear liquid came out, I was confused and unhappy.
Right? We've all been there, Brent.
Since then, the advice that we've gotten is to squeeze out the clear liquid and then put some mixing balls in there and shake that absolutely as much as you can.
Man, yeah. So much innuendo.
So, and of course, that seems like a hassle, and I have definitely complained about that too, of, you know, you don't
even
have
if that's the actual way to do it, that's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, on my channel, I've kind of tended towards Vallejo paint as the brand that I just, you know, have on my desk most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And always willing to try new things, but it's definitely the case that Army Painter is available in more stores, or at least it seems like Army Painter is available in more stores than any other brand. In particular, like they sell a lot of starter sets of like a Dungeons and Dragons miniature, drizzed, and, you know, 10. Well, agree to disagree on that, but
wait, what?
Drizzed. We just pronounce drizzed slightly differently.
Slightly.
That's all.
It's not drizzit. Is that no?
Look, however you pronounce DR, 3 Z's and a T, I don't know.
Drizzed. Drizzed.
Dow-Erden. Isn't
there a Drizzt movie or a TV show coming out?
Is
on
there
Netflix?
really?
I'm not even joking. So we're gonna know pretty soon.
Viewers at home, let me know if you've read the Drizzt prequel trilogy, because I sure have. And the Underdark is a crazy place, let me tell you.
Weirdly, coincidentally, the only D&D books I've ever actually read, those books.
Really?
Yes.
Menzoberranzan.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I literally tried so hard to get through them, and I got through them. I couldn't tell you a thing about them. There was a few key
details are coming back to me.
There was some
I'm pretty sure he fought an owlbear. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There is a very famous dark elf
it is.
drow called Drizzt.
Yes.
And if you go to your local hobby store, but also sometimes local bookstores, sometimes just like the mall, you can buy any place that you can buy D&D stuff. A lot of times you can also get this paint set that's like 1 mini and 10 Army Painter paints.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really become the case that a lot of people are getting introduced to painting through Army Painter. And I think there is a little bit of a responsibility there for you and I, Casey, to make an effort to figure out how to really use that paint well, because it is such a common brand. And I mean, it's really hard to find a store that sells Vallejo. You pretty much have to comment or like special order Vallejo.
Yeah. The only store that I can think of off the top of my head that actually sells it, or at least that still sells it in the area that I live, is Hobby Lobby, and they like doubled the price and halved their stock in all stores across the U.S. So almost not even worth it, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Army Painter, way cheaper than Games Workshop, and better bottles, and certainly more available than Vallejo. It's something that we need to learn how to use, and some of their paints, some of their colors I do like.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, I want to at least make a real effort at learning how to use right. So I'm gonna, in the coming weeks here, I want to try to, squirt out the ketchup juice, put the balls in there, really shake it up, and see if I can get it to behave the way I want it to behave.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, like, for a paint like this, like, it hits a certain level for most hobbyists. It's not bottom of the barrel, like apple barrel garbage paints. Like, it's definitely better than that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There are tons of uses for it, even if you can't quite get it to work properly. Like, it's still great for terrain, still great for dry brushing, honestly, like a lot of the times. That's one of my go-tos is for dry brushing is almost always Army Painter stuff. It's because it's there and I know I'm going to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And actually their metallics are decent. They're halfway decent.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talk about their shades too. They're pretty good.
I like them. Yep.
Yeah. So there are definitely a lot of things about Army Painter that are like definitely appealing to painters in general. And if we could figure out that magic secret sauce, and if you can, as a PhD chemist, like, please help us, Brent. Like, you must help us with this ketchup sauce.
Literally, all I'm gonna do is squirt out the ketchup juice, put some balls in there, and shake it as hard as I can, and then shake it for a few more minutes, and then shake it for a few more minutes. But
so the secret could actually be like, if you own a Vortexer, like Army Painter might be your best bet.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see what can be done. But it's a brand that I like most of their products except their flagship product.
Right. The big thing they do. That's true.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to make that a little more usable for me. Their main war paints line. Well, we'll see how it goes.
They have helped me out in a pinch a few times. Like their grass tufts are pretty exceptional.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Their paintbrushes, actually, some of their nicer, like the master ones, or the ones that are like the step above. Like when I was using pretty much exclusively Citadel brushes, like when I started, and even only a few years ago when I started again, I bought an Army Painter brush, their Regiment brush, and it had the funky like triangular handle, and like, man, that thing did so much more work than a Citadel brush ever did for me.
I think I still have a few of those squirreled away. I always save my slightly better brushes for a special day, and just keep on using the dirt cheap brushes that I use. I should
I have
go in there and treat myself to a
there you go, yeah,
a 5-year-old Army Painter brush that I've had in the back of my drawer. Yeah,
it's still good. It's got the tip. Yeah, I have a good question for you though. Do you still have your first paintbrush?
I don't think so. I have a bundle of used brushes, and that bundle definitely includes some older Citadel brushes, which would have been among my first brushes, but
sure.
I couldn't tell you. I don't have a clear memory of this was my first brush. I'm sure it was a Citadel brush, but I don't know.
I have my first brush. It's on display, which is kind of cool. They used to make them from Sable, like their normal brushes, which has always been interesting to me, because I think they're going to start doing that again, or they're doubling down on synthetics, but they're trying to make nicer brushes now. I don't know, it's a whole thing, but I just thought it'd be interesting if you still had your first brush. It's a weird thing to have, to just see, like, there's certain paint marks on there, and I don't know. It's
sure.
Weird.
No, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to make a video, like like a 3-minute long monologue of just talking about my first paintbrush.
Yeah. Now, what I remember is, you're talking about little dots of paint that are on the handle that you like remember the pattern, and you're like, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
No, I'm remembering like a pair of cargo pants that I got goblin green on the crotch, and that was definitely a thing in high school. Is I had several pair of cargo pants that I liked, except then because they were my favorite pants, they were the ones I was wearing when I got like dots of goblin green on my crotch. I'm like,
100%. Totally been there.
Still wearable.
Right? You're like, if somebody asks, they'll get it. Nobody's going to ask. They're just going to look at me.
Hey, yeah. I got you. But
I still have furniture. In fact, I go to my parents' house and there's still paint on some of their tile on their countertop. Like there's some ink in some of their grout too, like on the same counter. Like it's still there. And like when I moved out, it was like, I think it was a long time ago now. They gave me their like old ass, like kitchen set of dining room table and chairs, and there's definitely some drips of paint still on those chairs from
That's awesome.
a long time
Love
ago.
it. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I was going to a couple of different stores to kind of make the point to myself that Army Painter is everywhere, and Citadel and Vallejo aren't. So there's like a comic book store in the mall that isn't really a comic book store anymore. It mostly just sells Funko Pops, but it has the D&D starter paint set. And then I went to a different kind of similar store that used video games, sort of comic store, lots of used DVDs and stuff. And actually, they didn't have that exact set. They had like a lot of D&D stuff, Pathfinder stuff. They didn't have that painting set, but they had one Citadel product in the whole store.
Really?
Would you want to guess what it was?
Ooh.
So this is a store that I had previously found. What was it? The heroes, the Space Marine heroes, like kind of at the point of sale, you could buy a random Space Marine hero, but that was not what they had this time. That's not what we're talking about this time. Was it the paint handles? Nope. It was plastic glue. It was Citadel plastic glue. They had a wall of like Dungeons and Dragons books and dice and Citadel plastic glue. And here's the kicker. They had no models of polystyrene in the entire store.
So that glue would have done nothing.
And here's the rest of that story. I needed plastic glue, so I bought a bottle anyway.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, oh, people seem to like this plastic glue. We got to keep buying this. Yeah. Oh, man. I hope you got a good deal on that, because...
It was $6.99. It was way better than I anticipated.
I don't know what yeah, I mean, that's about right. For like a bottle like Tamiya Thin is like $6. So yeah, that's not bad. Like at an actual place, if you're looking to pick it up, yeah. Not bad. That's surprising. I mean, they probably sold to for like 30% off, like GW, MSRP.
Who knows? There was just that one data point. And I only bought it because I can't find my bottle of Tamiya Thin. Normally I just fill that up with hardware store chemicals and keep on going, but I need that little brush.
The little brush is sweet.
Yeah, I needed the bottle more than I needed the contents of the bottle.
Right. Oh, man. So.
We're going to keep going here. We got more stuff. We've already got,
I got more lots of stuff on my list. Like I did say at the top of the episode, like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily require a main topic. Like we got a lot of crap to talk about.
And the attentive viewer will pull nuggets from this.
Right.
There's got to be something useful in here.
So I mean, I'd throw down a couple of hot tips at this point, right? Two.
Yeah, you got hot tips. I don't think I have any hot tips except go to Bull Moose Comics if you want to get some Citadel glue. And that's actually a nice trip for me. That particular comic store used to be
LoJack Brent.
Used to be my go-to Blockbuster. And but nowadays it's a pretty good store where you can get some Magic cards, a good selection of your Dragon Shield card sleeves. You got Well, you get some dice, you get some used N64 cartridges. It's a good store. It's a good store.
What was the last used N64 cartridge you bought?
The last time I did anything like that, I just sold my Wii. I think my Xbox One. No,
the first one. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, I got you. Xbox, the first one.
I feel like I brought in 3 systems at the time.
I mean, this is like a homegrown store. This isn't some GameStop. You just got $4, right?
I didn't get a ton.
I'm sure you did.
I think I got like $80 a store credit or something. I mean, not a lot, but then again, I wasn't playing my Wii anymore, so it was all right.
Well, I mean, I don't play my Wii anymore. It's literally still up. It's like hooked up too.
Yeah, you know me. I'm a hoarder. It's pretty good of me actually that I got rid of all my consoles. Yeah, actually,
now that we're talking about it, like, good for you, man. Like,
good
cleaning out the clutter. That's great. Nobody needs the original Xbox. Like, there's literally nothing on that console that you can't play on another console.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Wii, this is different, Touch control.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Nothing worth playing
the
on
Wii
that system.
Has its weird selling point. I got that.
It did. I mean, I bought a Wii for an anniversary present to my wife. I know that sounds maybe not great, but it was great. We had a good time playing Wii Sports, like a whole 2 days straight, before never touching it again.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way to go. So, I think I used my Wii money and bought some X-Wing ships. Yeah.
Wii money to buy Wii ships. I see.
Sure. Yeah. Real good.
Come on, that's good.
Real good. And, man, what else? So, I actually started up Hobby Streak again, like a couple of days after stopping the last one, or a couple of weeks, whatever.
So you need the training wheels. After some people called you out for being
it's not even the training wheels. It's become habit, and it's a good reason just to post what I'm working on up on Twitter. So yeah, the Hobby Streak thing is just I post a picture of something I've been working on up on Twitter every day. I hashtag Hobby Streak day whatever, and been painting orcs, or I've been 3D printing, or whatever the case may be. And for whatever reason, I had the hankering to just keep it going.
Just go for it. Number 1, number 2. Yeah. You're on day 3. Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know I'm alive, and then I feel alive. And
there's that, yeah. I think people
farm
know
a couple
that you're
dozen likes off of Twitter, and there you go.
A couple dozen, man. You're pulling like 50, 60 a hobby update. Come on.
I don't like to brag.
I'm not. You're not. I'm saying for you. I think it's more than that anyway. It's like
get that, 4 or 5 dozen. Yeah.
Yeah, come on now. Don't so short sell yourself. All right. So what else?
Well, Hobby Streak. You get that little bit of motivation in there.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's become a little bit of a habit to me, but I'm perfectly okay with the fact that I broke my one that was up to like 240 or whatever, because now it's
healthy.
Now the pressure's off and I'm back to single digits again, a Hobby Streak, and it feels good. It's just what I do. It's not about the number. It's just what I do.
Yeah. Like the number should be more about like if people are following along, more than anything. Because like, look, if you made it 200 days while hobbying and then posting something every day and you miss like a couple of days, like, why would you feel bad about that ever? That's insane. I understand the feeling of having to start over, but like, man, that's an insane accomplishment. Like, no matter what. I mean, imagine if we did a Hobby Streak for literally anything that was actually good for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, oh, I went 200 days without eating pizza. I'm just saying. I would never do that. That's stupid.
It actually does make me think about those signs, like this workplace has gone 5 days without an accident. Yeah. And
I mean, if it's only
Did
5 days.
workplaces actually have that at one point? Because that seems like such a ridiculous sign to put up.
I mean, I feel like every movie I've ever watched about like the 80s and industrialism pretty much said so. Or
Yeah.
like anything that took place in Detroit, there was definitely that sign.
Okay, and it's implied that the sign is also, supposed to have a really high number on it, but on the other every time that sign goes back to it's been 0 days without an accident, that's a bad feeling.
I mean, that was the premise of the movie Super 8.
Was it?
Yeah, like a bad thing happened, the sign got reset, and they're showing it, and then that's the start of the movie. Like, kid's mom dies in an industrial accident. Spoilers for Super 8.
Okay, all right, good to know.
That's, I don't know. It's the 80s. It's a thing they do. Like, I want to say there's a Michael Keaton movie about making cars in the 80s. It's literally like that. And then for some reason he like steals a bunch of people from a mental institution and does some weird thing. But that sign is definitely in that movie.
Talking about there.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
some weird movie.
But yeah, it's been 3 days since Brent didn't have a hobby streak.
Right.
Yeah.
So
when it's workplace accidents, there's like a dark side of that sign. But for hobby streak, set it back to 0 and start over. That's fine. No pressure. It's not like somebody got hurt. Yeah.
Nobody lost a thumb unless you used a hobby.
Unless that's why you had to break your hobby streak for a few days.
That's different.
Get those stitches, come back.
Maybe we need to set some sort of like
hold a brush
rule
with
set.
your other hand. Yeah.
Like, is that what it is? Is that the hobby streak? Is like if you break it, it's not because you stopped doing it. Like, you can skip a few days. Your hobby streak's so good. You cut your thumb off, you need to reset. Yeah.
Hobby streak day 247. It's been 0 days without an accident here in Goobertown. Learned how to paint with my right hand.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like the next time you legit stab yourself with an X-Acto knife, you have to reset. Otherwise, you skip a day, it's fine. I forgive you. It's fine.
Wonderful.
Or
right.
maybe we take that down a notch from like actual human harm to like, okay, I dropped my airbrush and the needle was out and the needle bent straight up. Well, that is definitely worth resetting my hobby streak of no incidents.
It's a narrow enough beam as it is, Casey. You don't need to give people reasons to reset their hobby streak.
I'm saying instead of. Right? Instead of, if you skip a day, it's cool, man. Like, I get it. It's just a vacation. Doesn't mean your hobby's gone. Doesn't mean you stop thinking about it. But if something bad happens, I get it. You need to like set a precedence. You got to restart and give it a little time. Say this happened. We need to take responsibility, think about our actions, and start over.
Hobby streak day 245. Fixed my airbrush.
Yeah.
After breaking my airbrush.
Day 246. I dremeled the nuts off of a Space Marine. Had to reset.
I see your point. I see your point.
Yeah. Workplace injuries.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've... I was just saying that. I was trying to say the sentence. I don't think I've hurt myself too badly doing the hobby, but then I'm remembering all the times where I have a video where I blatantly have a Band-Aid on one of my fingers in the video. That's happened a fair number of times, actually. And so, yeah.
Absolutely. I've definitely stabbed and cut myself with an X-Acto knife. Being careful, and it still happens. Like, it just does.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly around that. A lot of airbrush incidents of stabbing myself with a needle because I forgot, like, oh, this, I grabbed it wrong or I did something. It's like, there's a prick in the finger, whatever it is. Totally stepped on something because I didn't vacuum my space, or I walked through my space without shoes on and stepped on something that stabbed me on the floor. from like some clip off of a sprue or something. It's absolutely happened.
Yeah, like a Lego. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sure.
That's where I wear. That is why I wear Crocs everywhere. Get out of bed in the morning, Crocs go right on. Safety
Crocs
first.
man, huh? I see how it is. Hobby streak of Paint Bravely has ended today.
Look, Casey, pretty soon you and I are going to learn a lot about each other's personal habits.
That's very true. And some of those things are not going to be good. So, you know how Games Workshop, and I'm talking to the audience right now because Brent knows what I'm talking about. Games Workshop is having their 3 big events, right? They're doing one in Florida, one in Texas, one in somewhere I don't care about. So Brent and I decided, wouldn't it be cool to legitimately fly to Florida for no reason other than to pick up the exclusive model? And we both actually just randomly bought plane tickets and decided to do that. So,
well, there's a little more reason than that. But
there is, I know. Bearing the lead a little bit, just because it's funny that way.
But yeah, we stacked up a couple of kind of shoddy reasons on top of each other, and
we had enough.
Casey and I are going to Orlando, Florida, in the middle of August to hang out and buy Holga cleft horn.
Whatever.
The special.
I honestly don't even know. I don't even know what the model is.
It's a Chaos limited. Warrior variant that they should have just sold in general, but instead I've got to use my flight credit from Adepticon 2020 to head on down to Orlando, Florida at the hottest time of year.
The worst possible time.
Yeah. We're going to be meeting our friend Danny from Miami, who actually lives in Orlando, Florida, or near there, and he's the 3D printed tabletop DM, the 3D printing DM, Danny, 3D printed tabletop,
who also runs that D&D game that we talked about so long ago, that we were a part of with a bunch of other people.
That's Danny.
Yeah. Calling back.
Yeah, we haven't given any updates on that particular game for a while, have we? But
not quite. But
maybe we'll jumpstart that again. We'll see. We'll see.
So.
But no, Danny. In theory, at least, Danny is putting us up in his home, and we're gonna be fixing his 3D printers and stuff. It should be a merry old weekend. It
should be a really good time. I'm actually looking forward to it quite a bit. It's kind of weird, you know? I don't think a lot of people realize that, Brent and I don't actually know each other in person.
We've never met.
Yeah, not ever, actually.
So we'll get some selfies together.
To prove it?
Yeah, that'll be a Hobby Streak Day entry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Met Goobertown Brent. It'll be on my Instagram.
Hello, it is nice to meet you.
Yeah. We got some fun plans though. We're gonna hang out at the convention at least for some amount of hours, because you don't need a ticket to go in. So we will be outside, hang out and buying models. Hopefully as many as possible. Is that the goal, Brent? We're gonna load a backpack up like your shady ass friend.
Yeah, you know, I'm the sort of person who, if I'm going to fly to Orlando, Florida to buy one Helga cleft hoof horn, might as well splurge and get 3. So, yeah, so I don't know what the rules are, if they're allowed to sell you 3 at once, or if I've got to get some goobers to stand in line for me and pretend like they're buying Helga cleft horn.
And if you want to sign up for that, just let us know down in the comments beforehand.
If you want to be a straw buyer for Helga cleft horn, we'll talk.
Definitely.
For real though, if anyone is going to be in Orlando for this event, it'd be cool to meet up. Should mention that as an actual real thing that could be quite enjoyable. I very much enjoy that. So
we'll be hanging out. We'll be there for a couple days. I don't know. It should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. I know that we're gonna do some fun stuff with Danny, some 3D printing stuff, some Warhammery stuff. I know he's not like super into Warhammer. He does mostly D&D stuff, but he did say that he has some Warhammer stuff at his place. So we're gonna dig through his crap and see what he's got.
Yeah, Danny is going to be in the middle of his next Kickstarter at that point too. Mm-hmm. So pretty much once a year, he runs a Kickstarter for STL files, and plus, I think a lot of times they often come with like D&D adventure modules and stuff. And yep. I don't know exactly what's in this next one, but I know there are minis or STL files at least. So yeah, when we visit him, he is going to be in the middle of a Kickstarter, and so if he wants to use us to print and paint minis from that to hype it up.
I think that's probably mostly what this is that Danny was like, there's a Warhammer event in Florida. Well, I'm pretty sure I can get Brent and Casey to come down here and I'll let them, stay at my place, guys. Like, I know I'm in the middle of this super stressful 30-day Kickstarter that is really important to me, but we'll hang out. And we can paint some minis. How about this mini? How about this little turtle? How about this tree man? And he's just going to feed us 3D models until we're dead and we have to fly home. I think that's what's going to happen.
I've seen some of what he's coming out with, and there is an adorable set of kobolds among a whole bunch of other stuff that if he wants to just lock us in his garage for a couple of days and make us print and paint kobolds,
right?
Sounds like a weekend to me. Yeah.
Or basements in Florida.
Stop by the tournament for half an hour to pick up a few Olgas and call it a day. That's what we're after. Head on back to the lair. Yeah.
Yep. So whatever happens. But we'll be down there if you want to meet up. Just I don't know. We'll be walking around.
Yeah, we'll be around.
I'm not sure how to handle that. Just is a thing. It's a place. We'll all be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. How big could this place possibly be? We'll be there. I don't know the answer to it. We'll find out.
All right.
We'll be at the line to buy Holga. That's where we'll be.
Yes. Because we're not playing in the tournament.
Yeah, we'll be arguing with the TO about trying to enter the tournament with an army entirely of 3D printed models. That's where we'll be.
That'll exactly be what we're going to be talking about. Or, how many Holgas can we buy on day 1, and can we enter the tournament day 2? Like, they're all Chaos Warriors.
Is a Chaos Lord named Holga, and she's leading mostly battle line units of Chaos Warriors. I mean, entirely clones of Holga.
It's a clone.
That is a very expensive army.
It would be $35 per model. You probably need 100 models at least. Yeah.
I assume it's $35 per model, but I have to. That's a good guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him like cranking it to 40 or 45. Like, once I'm in Orlando, like I'm gonna buy one. But I might not buy 2 or 3 at that price. I'm telling you.
I still will, because you know that night, throw it on eBay. It's $80. Like, everybody calls you a dick, but you still made $40. Like, that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll see where that situation ends up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited to go to our first convention in a long time, to meet each other, to meet old Danny.
Yeah.
3D printed tabletop, and it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have no idea what else we're supposed to talk about. There's more stuff on the list.
Yeah, there certainly is. So by the time this episode airs, the raffle will be up for this year's Nova Open Charitable Foundation. And so I've got a couple entries that you can buy raffle tickets for. Got a Warhammer Underworld's Warband of Chaos Warriors in my Goobertown yellow paint scheme.
Yes.
So Kagra's Ravagers, and you can buy raffle tickets for that. And I also painted one HQ on Hellstrider for a Khorne army that's up for raffle. And of course, there's always a ton of great stuff. I haven't looked through all the entries, but I know guy from Midwinter Minis is raffling off all of his Blackstone Fortress figures, which is like 40 videos from his channel, the ones that kind of made that channel in the first place. So
that's a lot. That's a lot.
I think that entry, I mean, you should still buy raffle tickets because you can still win, but I think that is going to get a lot of tickets sold, which is awesome because it's raising money for Doctors Without Borders or something like that. So
something good. I'm sure it's something good.
Yeah, they've got a couple charities that they work with, and they're all good. Like,
yeah.
I've never been one to quibble over which charity is most worthy. Yeah,
right. They're all doing the best they absolutely can.
I think, NOCF either like supports veterans or supports Doctors Without Borders or Children's Foundation or something. Like they're all good.
All worthwhile,
I don't want to be like, this is a bunk charity. Like this is the
yeah, really.
Like, your raffle supports that charity. Like, just buy the ticket. Get you some Blackstone Fortress set.
Right. I mean, not only is it a lot of models, and it's the entire box, right? So you have a fully painted game. I
think, and at least one expansion. I think a couple expansions probably.
But the fact that there is a video for literally every single model in that box, like, ups the value so much.
That's pretty silly. Yeah.
That is incredible. Like, imagine you are the person who's like, you have this box and you're sitting with your friends and you're like, yeah, it's a pretty sweet box. You want to play? Somebody goes, man, I really like this, whatever this model is. And you're like, oh yeah, you like that? Well, check this out. 20-minute video.
You want to see how it was painted?
Literally, yeah. You can bust that out anytime you want. Like, that's pretty special.
Yeah, this one was painted in 17 minutes and 34 seconds. You want to see?
Right, exactly. Yeah. You too can paint this model in under 20 minutes. Like, yeah, I mean, the video aspect of it definitely, like, it pulls in that story, and that's what it is, right? It's the story. It's part of this, like, history of like a weird ass history of Warhammer, of this, like, YouTube times.
And pretty sure Duncan Rhodes is raffling off like a Custodes army or something like that. I don't know.
Army, huh?
Nova Open Charitable Foundation, worth looking up. There's lots of raffle tickets to buy. I think they ship anywhere if you win the raffle, and
I have to imagine.
Good causes. And I've gotten to the point where I think it's maybe bad manners for me to buy raffle tickets, or it's bad manners for me to win a raffle. I should say that. So,
well, only if it's
not technically off limits, but if I won the Blackstone Fortress set, I would not feel cool about that. Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, though, like, if you were the person willing to give the most amount of money for it, as far as like, I guess it's not a raffle.
It's a raffle system.
You're right. So no, you would absolutely be the dick in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because, I mean, I think they are completely fair about actually drawing a real person's name out of a hat. But if I randomly was selected to get all of Guy's minis, not a good look. Not a good look.
No, not a good look at all. No.
So we're going to avoid that possibility, I think.
So what you're saying is I need to put one raffle ticket on everything and then eBay whatever I win. That's what you're saying.
Well, you would, but
I would also say X percentage goes towards a charitable foundation. Yeah. Just piggyback and make it even better.
So the last couple of years, I have at least bought a few tickets for something, and I know last year, I can't remember exactly what I bought, but I'm pretty sure I bought a few tickets for Vince's
the palette paper, right? We talked about that.
Palette paper, yeah. Vince took all his wet palette paper from the past year and framed it. It was a pretty cool little piece of abstract art. A lot of fun splotches of color. It all framed up.
Mm-hmm.
A nice little piece, so I bought some tickets for that. But I may look through and pick some of the smaller items that won't necessarily get the same amount of love that Guy's entire Blackstone Fortress set with 40 videos featuring those models, and
right.
maybe buy a few tickets for some of the cool models I like that aren't getting that crazy spotlight on it. So
yeah, that'll be cool.
So yeah, good cause, and raffles are just always fun. So yep.
Well, I won something recently, but it wasn't a raffle.
What was it?
It was
Casey?
still awesome though. So I found this OCR Bone Reapers army, like a lot of models. Like I think there's 60 or so odd models in the army. Looks pretty good. Like painted, whatever, doesn't matter to me. But I actually ended up buying the army after kind of haggling with the guy a little bit. You know, they got to make an offer kind of thing.
Okay.
So I went back and forth a couple times. I ended up with the army for $160, which is $10 more than I've paid for any army on eBay. But it's about the same size, and I'm pretty stoked about it. It looks pretty good. And I think that it's going to go a long way in making a pretty sweet army. And technically, with the Nagash that I was kindly gifted by someone, it is over 2,000 points of OCR Bone Reapers. So, yeah, free army. Well, $160 army. That's what I'm saying. Pretty sweet.
Congratulations, Casey. I hope you'll be very happy together. And no, I'm interested to see what you do with some OCRs.
Yeah, I've never painted any before. I bought a couple. I've got a few sitting around just because they're kind of interesting. I got those funky faces, you know. Never done anything with them, but it's got all the battle line. It's got all the stuff. I also found a Morghast Archive, like one of those old school ones, the bigger death models, for like $8. Out of nowhere. It's like $60 for two of those things. $8.
Congratulations.
That felt good.
Yeah. And I haven't been cruising eBay, and I'm not too sad about that, actually. I'm glad I haven't been spending a lot of money in the last few months, at least not on that stuff. Yeah.
No, that is the most I've spent.
Yeah.
You have GoPros.
I've been buying GoPros for videos that bomb. That's what I've been doing, but
right. Yeah, like the like ratio of how much did you spend to how much did you make per video. Yeah.
Look, you got to spend big to live big, Casey. That's
true. You gotta canoe it up sometimes. You gotta lose a few Space Marines to the lake. That's life, you know? It's life.
You miss all the shots you don't take or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy about your Bone Reapers, Casey. And for all you folks who are cruising eBay and you were looking at those Bone Reapers and Casey beat you to it, don't feel bad. That's what he does. He's a pro. Yeah, that's what I do. You sit there, you get the notification that you won, just dust it off. That's what I do.
Good. That felt good. Because he came back, right? He came back at first, and, originally he's like $200. I'm like, no, $150. And then he's like, no, $175. And I said, no, like $160. And then he's
you
like,
are good at what you do.
All right.
All right.
And I said, yes. Yep.
Very good.
That's how you do it. As far as anything else on the list of updates that we actually need to talk about, I really only have one thing left to say, and I think it's probably the same thing that you have to say, and it's really has nothing to do with us, and then that's pretty much all we got.
Hit us, Casey.
Dungeons and Daddies. Yeah. Now, I know I turned Brent onto this podcast not too long ago. And I'm just going to say flat out, like, if you are listening and it is this far into this podcast right now, and I can say this safely because you've made it this far, and thank you for listening, but you need to drop this terrible ass podcast and go listen to that one instead.
Again, that name is Dungeons and Daddies.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a D&D podcast about 4 dads from our world who get transported into the Forgotten Realms, and they gotta find their kids. They're driving around in their minivan, looking for their kids in the Forgotten Realms, and meeting all kinds of funny characters. And
yes,
yeah.
Now, so there are a couple of reasons that I wanted to bring this up. First of all, it is an awesome podcast. Okay. And you should definitely have that in your list if you're into anything like that. Like it, even if you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, like it's edited extremely well, and it's just very high quality.
It's a nice little audio drama that's mostly funny. And I've gotten a lot of work done while listening to all kinds of podcasts, but that one in particular, especially for the past couple of weeks. Oh yeah, Dungeons and Daddies. Yeah.
Very bingeable, very, very listenable. It's awesome. One of the dads in the podcast, as a stretch goal on Patreon, paints people's D&D minis. So I know, and I know it's a stretch, but I know that he knows at least who one of us is.
Wait,
therefore, well, just think about it. Just roll with me for a second, right?
You're talking like statistically speaking?
Statistically speaking, one of the dudes is a mini painter. He paints minis for people as a stretch goal on their Patreon. They have like 15,000 patrons. Okay, this is like a no joke, actually good podcast and all this stuff. But I'm just saying that there is a chance that he knows at least one of us. More likely it's you, but I'm just saying that like degrees of separation between us and then being able to, you know what I'm talking about, like. I'm
giving a podcast recommendation because I believe in the podcast. Casey is trying to meet someone famous. So, yeah.
Not even so much that. I just think it's interesting that that's life, I guess. I don't know. That the potential to even perhaps influence someone's painting that you're then listening to on a podcast. It's just a weird thing. That's all.
It's a crazy world, man.
It is. It's a crazy world. Also, it would be fun to meet anyone on that podcast.
And it would be fun to meet any of you in Orlando, Florida.
That's true. Looking forward to that. And on that note,
but like, don't go just for us. But like, if you're gonna be there anyway, yeah, say hi.
I mean,
it'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be weird if you just showed up for no particular reason. Yeah. Like, we don't know if we'll actually see you, you know?
Yeah.
Can't promise that.
And if I'm eating orange chicken, you're going to have to carry the conversation because I'm going to be busy eating orange chicken, but I'd be happy for your company all the same.
I mean, if you like orange chicken, I like orange chicken.
And when I'm done with the chicken, we can hang out.
Yeah. I won't give you my cookie, though. I like the cookie.
My mall doesn't give fortune cookies. They just give kind of like an extra scoop of orange chicken. Okay, well, if you're putting up orange chicken versus a fortune cookie, I'd much rather have the extra scoop of orange chicken. So your mall is superior. Thank you for letting me know that. I wonder if I can make a deal. Mine. And on that note, yeah, thank you again for joining us on another episode of Paint Bravely. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and sharing this message with your hobby friends. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Red Bull, the summer edition, the taste of dragon fruit, artificially flavored. I had no idea what this was when I bought it, but it is not bad, honestly. Like, see you next time. Yeah. It's not that I wanted to meet anybody on that podcast. I'm just saying it's a weird thing to be like a 1 degree of separation. It's the Kevin Bacon thing, man. Like, why you got to throw me under the bus like that? Like, you tell me you wouldn't want to meet Kevin Bacon if he's standing right in front of you? Like, it's Mr. Kevin Bacon. I'd love to meet those guys. Look, yeah. maybe someday we engineer it so that we're at the same convention. We hear that they're going to, I don't know, Comic-Con or someplace that I don't really care about going, but I go anywhere. I bet they go to like PAX West. I bet that's their...
Probably.
Yeah.
It would have to be West,
Yeah.
not East.
Not East.
Yeah.
Not East.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we go sometime. We just kind of do like a few flybys, see if there's any hints of recognition, you know?
That's what I'm saying. You'd be like, I'm a mini painter. Yeah, I just, you get that look like, you know the way of the paint. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw Mike from Red Letter Media randomly at like a museum in Chicago, and I'm pretty sure
super weird.
And like I made eye contact with him, and like he looked scared for a second, and so
it's like,
I'm
not
pretty
here,
sure,
not here.
I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah, he's like, this can't happen. This doesn't happen.
Formative moment for both of us. Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure. All right, we should probably shut this camera off. Yeah.